Hey, what's up? Something a little different today. We are inside, actually. My nice little setup back here with all my shoes doesn't that look nice? I don't know what I'm doing, but something a little bit different we're doing today. Actually not doing a vlog today. Don't worry, you're coming back. They'll come back. This isn't running specific. Life got away from me, so I had so many other things to deal with, and things got away from me. I meant to film this like 3 days ago, but I had tests, and I just couldn't get to it. But we're here now, and we're gonna make up for it. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. So for this video, we're talking about 5 different ways to avoid burnout in any sport. This isn't running specific, but I'm gonna kind of relate a lot of this to running and my career in that. If you're new here, I've been running it for the past 9 years, and I've learned a lot of it, and I've gone through ups and downs and a whole bunch of different cycles, and I've had to use some of these strategies. And before we go any further, I am not a sports psychologist in the slightest. I'm just a dude who has done these things a couple times. So this is what's helped me. Hopefully it'll help you. If not, don't sue me. Without further ado, let's get into it. So real quick, what is burnout, right? It's that thing, it's that phase in your running or your training or any sport where you just feel you're slowed down, you don't feel like you're gonna get out of it, and you're just not enjoying the sport as much anymore. But we're gonna try and fix that, and stick around to the end, because the last tip that I got I feel is very, very important and sometimes can be overlooked. All right, for the first tip, pretty important tip, starting off pretty basic. We're taking breaks. Take breaks. I cannot stress that enough. Take a step back. This will give you a chance, recover, kind of reflect on a lot of things that did or maybe did not go well. Usually I take my breaks after big championship seasons. This is either at the end of your football, soccer, whatever season it is. Make sure you take a break afterwards. Take a step back. Maybe you can take this chance as a chance to celebrate or as a chance to reflect on what didn't work. It's crucial that you do take these breaks. It's going to give you time to just do some other things in life, maybe catch up on some other things, recuperate, catch back up when you had that little low moment in your training or you're just off. And also for me, whenever I take my breaks, I just end up missing the sport. Like whenever I take my breaks off of running, usually like at the end of the season, I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited to take this break. I cannot wait to just do nothing. But usually by Wednesday of that week off, I'm like, man, I already missed this, which is a good problem to have. I'm so thankful that I do have that problem. But I understand for some of you guys, that isn't kind of the problem that you have. And you feel like you cannot wait all the time to get off your sport. Well, just take a second. Make sure during those breaks, just take some time off, relax, and maybe you'll come back loving it, or maybe you'll find something else during that break. Next tip, change some things up, right? Keep it interesting, right? I understand you got coaches tell you what to do. So sometimes there's a little bit of constraint here, but if you're coming on, or if you're just doing this for fun, or you're just, out there by yourself, still competing hard, but you're just kind of doing it for yourself, change some things up, make it a little bit interesting, break that monotony. That's going to help so much later down the line. It helps you just become a more diverse athlete. Like if you continue to try new training methods, you might learn something new that you didn't know prior, or you might be able to just become more diverse in your skill set. You'll know what doesn't work. More importantly, tip number 3, you need to set clear and achievable goals. I'm gonna stress that next word, achievable, right? You're obviously going to burn yourself out if you're out there trying to chase world records and you're some kid like me who is kind of fast, but not really fast, still really wants to work hard. So let's say I set my goal is like, I want to run sub 13 in the 5K, right? That's not gonna happen. Like, maybe it will happen someday, who knows? The phase I am right now, that's probably not going to happen. But for things like that, you're gonna burn yourself out. You're just gonna, really hurt yourself. You're gonna, when you don't achieve those goals, it's just gonna spiral out of control, and you're not gonna know what to do because you're not hitting those goals. So you're not feeling like you're accomplishing anything because you set these goals way too high and you never feel like you've done anything. So if you make sure that those goals are clear and you can achieve them, set baby steps. Like whenever I go into races, I set A, B, and C goals. A goals being like the best day ever. C goals being like, did the thing. B goals like, yeah, pretty good day in the office. So, just making sure you have diverse sets of goals so, maybe if you didn't achieve your highest goal, you did achieve some other goals. And one thing I want to iterate about making achievable goals, sometimes you just can't do it alone. So I think that's why it's so critical that you surround yourself. I think it's so important that you surround yourself with a whole bunch of like-minded people who have the same goals, the same aspirations that they want to go out there and achieve. And you share your progress with them. Maybe try to help them as much as they help you. So if you have a group of friends like I do, which I'm very lucky to have, that help keep me accountable, use them as well to help you avoid burnout. And tip number four, make it fun. Now, I understand a lot of situations, training sucks. You know, it hurts. If I'm out there doing a 6-mile tempo and it's 110 degrees outside, you know, you still got to do it, and that sucks. And yeah, you're obviously going to have days like that. You know, there's no getting around it. But what you got to make sure you do is incorporate fun days or relaxing days within the week. Break it up. You know, not every day in your training is meant to be you out in the trenches somewhere, you know, fighting your battle uphill. Have some fun. You know, that's the whole reason we're doing this sport, or any sport, is because we enjoy it, right? So if you're not enjoying it, you know, what's the point? So like an example for me is like, if I go out and do a workout the day before and it hurt and I just want to do the next day, still hit my mileage, do everything right, but I'm still, you know, taking that next day, maybe I run a little bit slower, choose my favorite trail, pick my favorite shoes, you know, I'll reach up here, grab the old Nova Blast 5s, and just go run my favorite routes at a pace that, you know, I like. That keeps the whole mental cycle nice enough. Now, you have your hard moments, but then you have your nice moments where you still remember to enjoy the sport every once in a while. Like I said, if I go out there and I hit a huge workout and then the next day I'm probably not going to go crush some big hills or something along those lines, I'm going to go find a nice route, or maybe a route with a nice view. Maybe it's got some hills and it's just got a nice view. I'm picking that route, I'm running at whatever pace I want, just so I enjoy the day. Because, you know, that's what I feel really keeps me going in this sport. If you guys are liking this video so far, make sure subscribe, you know, do all the things. Just want to ask you guys real quick if you enjoy this style of content, or just leave a comment if you guys have any other tips on how do you avoid burnout. I actually love to hear them, because I'm going to be training by myself very soon, so I'm probably going to need some help. Okay, for our fifth and final tip, one that I feel is very important because this is the part that gets a hold of me a lot. My final tip is to learn that disappointment is just part of the process. Hang on with me for a second. Disappointment is not always necessarily a bad thing, and it took me a long time to kind of realize this. In a sense, you know, without disappointment, you don't have those big moments, you don't have those breakthroughs. Trust me, because without those disappointments, everything's still just kind of flat. Makes it less interesting, honestly, to me. And listen, if you're having a lot of disappointments and you're thinking about, maybe this isn't for me, you know, I've had slumps before, and I've always had it in the back of my mind during those times. I'm like, maybe running isn't for me. But then I always kind of remember that, like, if you stop, you will never get better. You get faster, you'll never get stronger, you'll never get anything out of the sport if you give up. Now, I'm not saying that you should always keep going, because maybe it isn't for you. I'm not trying to say that as a mean thing. Sometimes I just remind myself that, you know, I work so hard for these types of things, and, you know, it's there because I've had ups before, and that's what I try to remember. So let's say you're having a whole bunch of disappointments, and, you know, your season didn't end the way that you wanted it to. You know, I've had that happen more times than I really care to admit. But, you know, maybe this is a chance to circle back to tip number one. Take your break. Take a step back. You know, do all those things and then come back. Because I'm telling you, once you get out of that slump and you finally hit that race or that event or whatever happens that you're looking forward to or working towards, and it finally happens, it is one of the most satisfying things I think any human could ever experience. And I think that, you know, robbing yourself of that is just a disservice to you and your past self that you've been working so hard to achieve. So next time you're disappointed at the end of the season, just remember, it's part of the process. It's not over yet. It's not over until you say it is over, right? Was that cringe? Either way, you know, just remember, there's gonna be lows, but remember, there's also gonna be highs. Take that into account. Maybe you'll hit those highs. Who knows? I know, you will. You'll do it, because you're subscribed, right? If you're subscribed, you'll hit those highs. So yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend. Maybe they need it. I don't know. If you want any other videos like this, like handling disappointment, I got a whole list of ideas I can talk about handling disappointment with. So if you need anything else, drop it down in the comments, and I'll see you later.